The UnitedHealthcare CEO was shot and killed outside a New York City Hilton hotel this morning.
This morning at 6:46 a.m., patrol officers from Midtown North Precinct responded to a 911 call of a person shot in front of the Hilton Hotel located at 1335 Avenue of the Americas.
Yeah, that would seem to suggest that there's some sort of a personal or ideological motive around this specific target.
Something blazed across the internet that not only shocked people around the world, but also divided Americans in a way that's simply unheard of. It also gave rise to so many wild theories about why someone wanted Brian Thompson to die and who could benefit from it. So in this video, I'm going to share all these crazy theories with you and give you a chance to figure out how and why someone would gun down a Fortune 500 CEO in the middle of one of the busiest cities in the world. But before we go down this rabbit hole, let's look at the facts we have right now. The suspect arrived in Manhattan a full 10 days before the shooting took place, and he traveled via Greyhound bus. That bus started its route in Atlanta, and authorities don't know whether the suspect boarded it in that city or elsewhere. The suspect was seen on surveillance camera footage getting off the bus at around 9 p.m. on November 24th and walking through the Port Authority bus terminal in Manhattan. And here's the footage from the terminal. As you can see here, the suspect is doing a very good job of hiding his face. We also know that the suspect checked into an Upper West Side hostel. The suspect is believed to have stayed in a multi-person room with two other males and wore a mask for most of his stay. So basically, this guy who was about to commit one of the most high-profile crimes in recent memory stayed in a shared room for multiple days. And you're telling us he was able to hide his face all this time because he was wearing a mask. This sounds pretty wild, but you just wait because the details only get crazier. For instance, a fake bomb threat was made at Mr. Thompson's home hours after he was taken down in New York. According to a Maple Grove Police Department report, the city attorney received the threat in an email. The email claimed that a pipe bomb had been dropped off at Mr. Thompson's residence. Now, interestingly, the Wall Street Journal reported that Brian and his wife had been separated for years before his murder. So the UnitedHealthcare CEO lived in a separate residence close to the home where his wife and two sons live. Now, there are two main questions here. Who gunned down Mr. Thompson and why did they do it? And usually these questions can be pretty hard to answer in the aftermath of such a high-profile assassination. However, this crime took place in one of the most surveilled cities on Earth. NYPD alone has more than 18,000 CCTV cameras across Manhattan as part of its domain awareness system. And there are thousands and thousands more private CCTV systems in the city, especially in Midtown where this incident took place. And thanks to all these cameras, we know exactly who committed this crime because we have all this footage of the assailant. We already know how he got to the city, and we have footage of him walking to the scene of the crime. Then there are these disturbing images of the assailant shooting at Mr. Thompson. However, the craziest footage of all comes from a camera near Central Park. According to the police, the gunman ran from the crime scene, went into an alleyway where he got on an e-bike and went straight for Central Park. And in this next clip, you can see him leaving the park as if it's just another normal day. Thanks to these same CCTV cameras, the police also found pictures of the guy's face from the same hostel where he was staying. Apparently, the man removed his mask while flirting with a female worker at the hostel where he was staying, and that's how we got these pictures. Now, people freaked out when the NYPD released these photos because this guy isn't wearing the same jacket or the same backpack that you can see in the video where the assailant is shooting at Mr. Thompson. This guy also doesn't match the description given by the New York Police Department chief detective.
The shooter appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing a light brown or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, black and white sneakers, and a very distinctive gray backpack.
However, you have to keep in mind that these photos were taken before the crime took place, so there's a chance that the guy just bought new clothes and a different backpack. The same people who pointed out this discrepancy also noted that the shooter was wearing expensive clothes and had some rather expensive equipment on hand. But all these theories aside, the simple fact remains. The man, as far as NYPD is concerned, has been caught on camera, and with his face plastered on TV, it shouldn't be too long before he's identified and possibly captured. Now, even though we kinda know who did this, we still don't know why. I mean, it's not every day that the CEO of a top 5 Fortune 500 company gets gunned down in broad daylight. And no matter what Hollywood says, New York is not what it used to be. The murder rate is so low that news companies even write articles explaining why it's kind of hard to get assassinated in the city these days. So why would a killer risk so much to take down a CEO who, according to all news reports, kept a low profile? Well, the first theory came up when a very gruesome discovery was made at the crime scene. According to the police, the bullet fired at Mr. Thompson was engraved with words, and these words were delay, deny, and depose. Clearly, the assailant was trying to send a message, and it didn't take long for the world to come up with theories about what these words mean.
Those reported words eerily similar to the name of this book, Delay, Deny, Defend, which is about how insurance companies deny valid claims for profit.
The book they're talking about discusses a tactic used by insurance companies where they will first delay your claim, hoping that the longer the delay, the more likely it is that a person with a legitimate claim will give up and drop the claim. If you don't give up, they will deny your claim for any number of reasons. And they do this because many people do give up and eventually drop the claim. Of course, every dollar not paid out on a claim is a dollar that goes to the insurer's bottom line. And if you still persist, they will just take it to court where their lawyers will drag the case for years, once again hoping that you'll just get tired and give up. Now, if there's one company that knows about this tactic, it has to be UnitedHealth, because they are the industry leaders in denying claims. In fact, out of all the claims denied by these insurance companies, 32% come from UnitedHealth. For reference, that's twice the industry average, which is just unacceptable. And as this guy explains, this crime might just be a result of the hatred people have toward the insurance companies and their malicious practices.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that video of the UnitedHealth CEO who got unalived in New York City. It was pre-planned, it was premeditated, but what they found was the shell said, deny, defend, depose. That might not mean anything to you, but that is a shot for every CEO of every insurance company around the world, maybe even in North America. What that means is this: insurance companies, even though you've been paying insurance to get insured for something, they're going to try to deny that claim, and they're going to try finding a way to doing it. And if you dare try to sue them for it, what they'll do is they will defend that. You will have to sue for coverage. And that's what the issue is. Depose is part of the lawsuit process, where when you get sued, you have to be deposed as a part of that process.
And this hatred is exactly why there was very little sympathy from the public when this news first broke out. Instead of feeling bad about this incident, we had people tweeting and commenting stuff like this: "I'm sorry, prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. Was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't actually an emergency and we were out $3K. And there were thousands and thousands of these comments on every story about this Fox News. Now, I think it goes without saying that we should not celebrate crime and violence even if we don't like the victim. However, I can also see why so many people in this country hate health insurance companies. About 14 million people in this country owe more than $1,000 in medical debt. And shockingly, about 3 million Americans are carrying a medical debt of more than $10,000. And then we find out that UnitedHealth was using a faulty artificial intelligence system to deny claims of elderly patients. Now, looking at all of this, it's not a stretch to assume that this shooter was just some disgruntled customer of UnitedHealth and he was out for blood. This will basically mean that this assailant wasn't a professional, which according to the New York Times fits the bill as far as experts are concerned. In their article, the Times talked to retired FBI agents and other experts, and all of them believed that this wasn't the work of a professional because it's very risky to off someone in Midtown New York, and no professional will accept that kind of risk. So as far as the mainstream media is concerned, this was just a one-man job from someone who hated Brian Thompson and wanted to send a message to the shady health insurance industry. However, this isn't a theory that everyone believes. You see, despite his low profile, Mr. Thompson had been in the limelight due to some serious legal troubles. The company had been rocked by a class action lawsuit earlier this year. The mass legal action, initiated by the City of Hollywood Firefighters Pension Fund, became a particularly hot topic as it alleged massive insider trading on the part of Thompson and other executives of UnitedHealth. According to records, the senior officers offloaded approximately 228,000 UHN shares. The three biggest sales were executed by Director Stephen Hemsley, 121,515 shares on October 17, 2023, and 66,081 on December 5th of the same year, for an estimated total of $102 million, and Brian Thompson, 28,943 shares on February 16, 2024, for an estimated total of $15 million. As you can see, Brian was facing some very serious charges and was under a DOJ investigation. According to his wife, he had been receiving threats before he was shot. Couple this with the fact that the assailant knew where exactly Mr. Thompson was going to be and that he would definitely not have any private security with him. All these things led to the theory that Mr. Thompson was taken out by people who did not want him to testify against them. It also states that these people knew intimate details about him and helped the assailant in the crime. Now, since this is an ongoing investigation, I'm certainly not going to say which theory might be accurate. I'm simply trying to share with you all the facts and the possible narratives around those facts. And I would like to end this video by saying that no matter how much we hate someone, we just don't gun down people in this country. Go to court or force your local lawmaker to raise this issue with other politicians. I fully agree that the health insurance industry uses some very predatory practices, but there are better ways to bring change than shooting people in crowded streets. This is not the 18th century. It's 2024 and we're better than this. So I would love to know what you guys think about this crazy situation. Please share your theories with everyone in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the channel. As always, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.